A seguir, behind the scenes.
She's trying to seduce you.
Did you kill him?
If I said I didn't, would you believe me?
What's happened to Basic Instinct since it was made has transmuted over the years into something that it probably wasn't.
If you ever have a fear that you could drown in a car, you're going to be scared when you see this.
Great cast, and a great director as well. I mean, I'm a big fan of Michael Caton Jones.
Do I make you uncomfortable?
I think because of the infamous leg crossing scene, it had more notoriety about that than it did about the actual film itself.
How do you picture it, Doctor?
I'm excited about it. I'm really glad that it's here. I'm glad that we've made it. I'm really excited about it.
The great thing, I think, about this film being a sequel and so much time having gone between the two films is that the audience is ahead of them all the time.
What are you doing here?
What you said about me being addicted to risk, isn't that what turns you on?
They know Catherine Trammell. They know what she's like. They know what she's capable of.
The judge let her go.
I'll make you a bet.
She'll do it again.
She's a great actress in the sense that she creates a really great space for you to work in, you know, so we were able to interact in a really great way. And it was quite, in a movie like this, you need a lot of trust with your fellow actors, and we certainly had that.
I'm really excited that I'm the one that got to do it.
Sorry, you're not allowed to smoke in here.
You know what I like about you? You enjoy being in control. Like me.
I'm not the one who's on trial for murder.
Not yet.
In a modern film, and especially in a big film, if you don't get them in the first 4 minutes, you don't get them. And this film, don't be late to the theater.
What I wanted to try and do was to mimic the, I guess, the journey of sex.
A sexual thriller.
You're a writer. What do you write about?
You start off with some kind of desire, and then you start getting a bit hotter, and it gets a little bit out of control, and then it starts to build and build and build, and then bang!
We were full on from the minute we started shooting to the end of it.
Call an ambulance! Don't play games with me. What, and you think I killed him?
There's a silence, and then you get all floaty and you fall asleep, as in my case.
I'm excited about it. I'm really glad that it's here. I'm glad that we've made it. I'm really excited about it.
Her prints were all over the crime scene.
There are some scenes in here which are just, it's just the essence of Sharon Stone.
I feel like a cigarette.
She's a great actress in the sense that she creates a really great space for you to work in, you know, so we were able to interact in a really great way. And it was quite, in a movie like this, you need a lot of trust with your fellow actors, and we certainly had that.
I'm a writer.
Really? What do you write about?
Oh, the lurid, the sexual, the violent, the basic instincts.
They're the most powerful, aren't they?
She's turned up in London, and it's so fabulous.
And here she is in a different society in England, and I think she just, like in the first film, she's not going to play by your rules. And that makes her a wonderful character to be around.
We haven't got a case, Roy.
Well, just make one.
The whole movie, my character is a psychoanalyst who assesses Catherine Trammell before she goes to trial.
We'll order a psychiatrist to say she's a danger. I'll make sure we get somebody good and tough.
This gorgeous, wonderful, smart, hunky, lovely, delicious psychiatrist.
Glass.
Hello.
I'm Henry Rose, Miss Trammell's solicitor. This is Catherine Trammell. I shall be present during the evaluation.
She's a whirlwind force, Catherine Trammell. She's somebody who's amazingly sexually liberated, but also somebody who, she's a ball breaker. She's someone who goes out. She's not going to be restrained by the conventions of society. I will be asking Miss Trammell some fairly personal questions, but she doesn't mind you being present.
My client understands, and she agrees I should be present for...
Maybe Dr. Glass is right, and we should be alone for this.
Catherine, I strongly advise you not to contemplate...
So, is this where we're gonna do it?
He's somebody who is obviously has a professional skeleton in the closet. It's something that I think he's somebody who felt he should be further in his career than he is.
She's about to make friends with and draw a lure into her web of luxury and deceit.
Well, I would say extremely intelligent, gifted, accomplished. Yet inside, I believe, she vacillates between a feeling of godlike omnipotence and a sense that she simply doesn't exist.
If released, is she likely to commit a violent crime?
I believe Miss Trammell's behavior is driven by what we might call a risk addiction. A compulsive need to prove to herself that she can take risks and survive dangers that other people can't.
Why would a person do that?
Well, the greater the risk, the greater the proof of her omnipotence. Her existence, really.
When you say she has a risk addiction, is this condition likely to get worse?
That arrogance and that ambition is what sort of blinds him to what's sitting in front of him in Catherine Trammell. All addiction is progressive. The addict will always need to take greater and greater risks.
And if other people are hurt or killed as a result of her behavior, that's not likely to stop her?
No, I think the only thing that would stop her, I suspect the only limit for her would be her own death.
Then she is a danger to herself.
Yes, I believe she is. She's really testing his boundaries about where he wants to go with her. Does he trust her?
She's trying to seduce you.
Did you kill him?
If I said I didn't, would you believe me?
My character descends into a world, a sexual world, that he's not capable of handling. Don't patronize me, please. It's driving me crazy.
You're in love with her, aren't you?
Not love, it's...
You have to terminate this therapy right away.
Well, it's already done. She terminated it herself.
Good.
He's sort of so obsessed with getting himself on the psychoanalytical map in London that he slightly doesn't see the danger that's around him. He thinks he can handle it.
Do I make you uncomfortable?
Within that world, he's trying to solve a problem. He's trying to find out who is the killer in our story.
How do you picture it, Doctor?
There's quite a bit of sex.
You know, you have to approach those scenes the way you approach every other scene in the film, in the sense that, you know, every scene has to tell a story. They always try to seduce you.
Yes, but this one's different, isn't it?
I don't know. More fun, maybe.
Be careful, Michael.
The great thing about working with Sharon is that she's somebody who creates that atmosphere for you to be able to work in. It's a very safe atmosphere.
I have sex scenes with David. I have an orgy scene.
As an actor, you just get on with it, really.
What exactly do you want?
I wanted it from the first moment I saw you, and you did too.
What happens during the movie is you're not sure who's got the risk addiction, him or her. And I think he's unaware of that. It's quite a subconscious thing for him, but he's really exercising his risk addiction. What are you doing here?
What you said about me being addicted to risk, isn't that what turns you on?
That's a very dangerous journey he goes on to. So, you know, it is a sexual thriller.
Everything that comes out of her mouth's a lie, even the truth's a lie.
My character, obviously, as a psychoanalyst, always thinks that he's in control of the situation, but he's not. A big film like this, there's a lot of difficult scenes, just in the sense that the logistics are quite hard.
It was hair-raising to shoot, and it was, I mean...
We were filming in London, in the city of London, which is a very busy place. We wanted to make London look like a real, as it is, a real modern city now. You know, it's a real modern European city, so a lot of it was filmed down in Canary Wharf. And so the logistics of that was difficult. But no, there was nothing difficult besides, you know, holding a great film crew, a big, massive film crew around the streets of London, which is always very difficult.
What we went through to make that, but I think it's on film. I really think you see all that. I think you see that it was just that nuts.
We push it in a scene, in these scenes in the film. hopefully during the film they're looking at him and they're saying, don't go there, you know, but he so feels that he's in control of himself, that he can do it. But so that's fun, I think, for the viewer to be able to explore that.
If you ever have a fear that you could drown in a car, you're going to be scared when you see this. We blew that spiker off a rocket launcher into the Thames. We did, I mean, endless. It was...
Well, you never know anything, do you, really? It's that thing of, you know, constantly open to surprises. But no, I thought it was a great film, and it was important with the sequel to treat it as its single entity, you know, and I think the time between the two has given us, we're able to do that.
The judge let her go.
I'll make you a bet.
She'll do it again.
We had a good time.
Milena?
Oh, Michael. I'm sorry, I didn't ask your name.
Catherine Trammell. Milena Goddard.
Oh, you're Dr. Gardosh. I've heard so many wonderful things about you.
Catherine?
There you are.
Voltamos já com Behind the Scenes.
David Morrissey is amazing. Amazing.
I was nervous meeting her. I was apprehensive just because I wanted the job so much. You know, like any actor, you know, walking into an interview situation, it brings nerves. It was amazing. You know, my first reaction in a complete pessimistic head was that this film will never happen.
He's a super talent. He's super good looking. He's super experienced. And he's really smart.
It was that thing of going, they said, you know, it starts shoot. I got told, I think, in January, and they said it starts shooting at the end of February or something. And I thought, so much time between now and then, you know, something will happen, you know, they won't be able to film it.
He's so wonderful. He's so talented. And, you know, he just brought so much to the role, and he brought so much to the chemistry of it.
I didn't really believe it until the day I walked onto the set. And then I really did think this is happening, and I was ecstatic. It was great. Milena?
Oh, Michael. I'm sorry, I didn't ask your name.
Catherine Trammell. Milena Goddard.
Oh, you're Dr. Gardosh. I've heard so many wonderful things about you.
Catherine?
There you are.
Coming into this, it was everything to find the right guy who was a really strong, powerful, interesting actor.
Yes, I was nervous, but not after I met her. She was just, it was great. Just, you know, she put me at ease, and it was wonderful.
Do you consider Miss Trammell to be mentally impaired?
Not by legal definitions, no, not at all.
If released, is she likely to commit a violent crime?
Possibly. I believe Miss Trammell's behaviour is driven by what we might call a risk addiction. If you like it, if it's challenging, then that's when you make your decision rather than sort of an idea, really, for me.
He's the therapist, so he has to be very subtle and very mental and very psychological, and he has to kind of get you.
Well, for her, time's a weapon. Everything's a weapon. Everybody's an enemy.
Do you think she made it up about the policeman? Washington?
I don't know. It's so hard to believe anything she says, you know. That's a man who's living in denial, and that's... I look for complexities in character all the time, and he's certainly a complex guy.
David just really got it, and he was scary because he would find this very intriguing way to just work me. And he was just always getting me until I was just... He just really kept me on my toes. He was fabulous.
Maybe Dr. Glass is right, and we should be alone for this.
Catherine, I strongly advise you not to contemplate
So, is this where we're gonna do it?
You really cannot play a character like this as an island. You know, everything is about what the other person brings, and everything is about how the other person is with you.
If your character's shy, you have to be shy. If your character's liberated, you have to be liberated. The one thing that you do need is a sensitive crew, and that's what we have here. You need a crew who are very sensitive to A, you being naked, but also you sort of having to tell a story which is usually intimate, or usually, you know, if it's not intimate, it's absolutely the opposite to that, which is sort of completely sexually liberated.
I do like to take risks.
Taking drugs and having sex in a speeding car? Like talking to me without your lawyer present?
Actually, that was your idea.
Like being on trial for murder. That's risky. You could end up in prison.
Not if I'm innocent.
Innocent people end up in prison sometimes.
Not rich, innocent people with Henry Rose as their lawyer.
Well, then it can only be exciting if you're guilty.
Oh, Dr. Glass, you do like to take risks, don't you?
No, I'm not on trial for murder.
Not yet.
She wanted it to be very a successful and good film, is what she wanted. I think she was trying too hard, frankly, at the beginning.
She put me at ease immediately. And from the minute we met, we got on. And that continued right the way through the film.
The more I got her to do less, the better she got, just to relax and just don't worry about it so much. And the more she just threw that away, the better she got.
And I'm in there and we're rehearsing and I'm thinking, okay, and it's good and the room is so sexy and everything. And I leave and I went back to the makeup trailer and I thought, the guy's kind of looking at my tatas. And I get back to the makeup trailer and I look down and I'm thinking, yeah, I must be sexy in this t-shirt. And I look down and I have baby throw up on the front of my t-shirt.
I suspect the only limit for her would be her own death.
Then she is a danger to herself.
Yes, I believe she is. Don't patronize me, please. It's driving me crazy.
You're in love with her, aren't you?
Not love, it's...
Voltamos já com Behind the Scenes.
God, Michael, how dramatic.
I know. I thought she was in danger, but I know that's not the point.
She could be a murderer twice over, and you're acting like she's a princess you have to rescue.
Great cast, and a great director as well. I mean, I'm a big fan of Michael Caton Jones ever since I saw This Boy's Life, which I think is a great film. He's somebody who I really trust, and I loved working with him. So, yeah, great cast, great director.
Yeah.
What's happened to Basic Instinct since it was made has transmuted over the years into something that it probably wasn't and wasn't intended at the time.
The great thing, I think, about this film being a sequel and so much time having gone between the two films is that the audience is ahead of him all the time because they know Catherine Trammell. They know what she's like, they know what she's capable of, and he doesn't.
I think it's transmuted over the years into the film that made Sharon Stone a movie star. And I think because of the infamous leg crossing scene, it had more notoriety about that than it did about the actual film itself.
You've seen it before and I haven't, that's the thing.
Thank you. The beauty about antisocial behavior is that it takes you away from other people, however briefly. You're not an analyst.
I'm a writer.
Really? What do you write about?
Oh, the lurid, the sexual, the violent, the basic instincts.
They're the most powerful, aren't they?
I'm a big fan of film noir. And I'm also a classicist. You know, I'm one of these people that loves the classic form of anything with a modern twist on it. And, you know, they don't write a lot of good film noir anymore.
I thought it was a great film, you know. I mean, obviously Van Houten it was like a homage to Hitchcock in a way, you know, but I love the score, I love those sweeping shots, you know. So yeah, I was a big fan.
These are tone films, and they don't make a lot of tone films anymore. These kind of over-the-top, 2 box of popcorn, you know, great, sexy thrillers. You know, they're rare.
Don't patronize me, please. It's driving me crazy.
You're in love with her, aren't you?
Not love, it's...
You have to terminate this therapy right away.
When Henry Bean and Leora Barish wrote this really cool film noir with the modern spin, I'm really excited that I'm the one that got to do it.
I love the design of the whole picture, really, not just the costume design, but the design of my office, the design of, you know, Sharon's flat and stuff like that. The whole concept of the film I was very happy with. Well, it's already done. She terminated it herself.
Good. If she calls again, give her my number. I'm a woman. She'll relate to me differently.
Who gets to play a character that lives at home and wears 4-inch heels and sexy clothes and has her apartment painted black?
I've done that before as an actor. At the end of a job, they say, do you want any of these clothes? And you buy them, or you take them away with you. And then when the thing comes out, you think, well, I can't wear them now, because it's like me being in character, you know? So I tend not to take clothes anymore.
I feel like a cigarette.
It's interesting with David Thewlis, because I think people feel that British actors all know each other, and we have each other in our sort of, you know, our handsets to phone every time. I didn't know David, and I knew his work and was a massive fan of his. So it was a real pleasure to work with him. And again, we had some great times.